miss watching theater. Hi guys! Hello! It's me, I'm Claudes. I'm back with another video. Today, I am going to be telling you guys what books I would love to see as a stage musical. So if you don't know, I'm a theater arts major. I graduated last year and I'm not really much a performer. I'm more of like a stage manager, someone who's mostly backstage. But the thing is, I still love musicals anyway, and I'm not an expert, but these are just the books I would love to see as a musical based on the story, the characters, the setting, all that jazz. Yeah. I miss watching theater. I am going to warn you guys right now that I'm probably going to burst into song a couple of times throughout this video. I am not sorry because I'm warning you right now. So if you don't wanna hear me sing, then bye! The first book I would love to see as a stage musical is Flipped by Wendelin Van Dranen. Oh my god. Flipped is just the cutest thing. It's a multi-POV chapter between the two main characters, Bryce and Julie. When Bryce's family moves into this neighborhood, he meets Julie and Julie immediately has a crush on Bryce. But Bryce is like, girl, bye. That's when they were kids, and then fast forward to a few years later when I think they're in middle school. I'm not entirely sure how like the American school system is, but I think like based on the ages of the actors in the movie, that's right, it's also a movie, I think they're around middle school or about to start or like have just started high school. Anyway, so it follows the story of Julie and Bryce. There's a lot of family themes, there's quite a bit of friendship themes and like a little bit of peer pressure on Bryce's side because everyone doesn't like Julie. Julie's like that weird kid at your school that a lot of people doesn't like and doesn't really have a lot of friends. She's like the weird kid. But like Julie's just so outspoken, warm, and caring, and so open-minded that everyone is like, she's weird. I don't like her. But over time, Julie starts to realize that maybe Bryce isn't for her, but Bryce kind of starts to like her as well. So they kind of flipped. It's a whole lot more than that. And like, the book is really thin. I think it's around 100 to 200 pages, and you know, if you could read it in one sitting. So if you guys have the time, go read it. It's really cute. Watch the movie while you're at it. So why do I think this would make a really good musical? One, as I said, it's a really cute story. Two, this takes place in like the late 1950s. Can you just imagine the music? Can you imagine the theme of the music and oh my god, and the choreography and just and the setting as well. It would be in like a suburban neighborhood, like definitely not the big city. They're like a little town. It's a quiet village. I can't entirely remember where, like what state exactly it is, but definitely not like one of the big cities. And also, since it does take place in the late 1950s, can you imagine the costumes? Oh my god, the style and the fashion in the 1950s were so pretty. And also, one of my favorite quotes ever came from this book. Some of us get dipped in flat, some in satin, some in gloss. He turned to me. But every once in a while, you find someone who's iridescent. And when you do, nothing will ever compare. I just love it so much. The next book I would love to see as a stage musical is Patron Saints of Nothing by Randy Rebai. So Patron Saints of Nothing follows the story of Jay, who's a Filipino American who grew up in the US. And upon finding out that his cousin died, he goes back to the Philippines and tries to find out what happened. So, majority of this book takes place in the Philippines, and so I'm not entirely sure if I would want to see this on like West End or Broadway, or if I want to see it as a local musical. And I kind of want to see it more as a local musical because it takes place in the Philippines, the eyes of a Filipino. So I don't know, I think it just makes more sense that way. Anyway, I'm just like pointing out that I want to see this as a stage musical in general, but I think it would work more if it were a local stage musical here in the Philippines, because I would love to see this done in both English and Tagalog, and or in Taglish, because this book not only like uses Tagalog, you have other Filipino languages here as well. It would just make so much sense that way, and it would highlight the fact that Jay can't speak in Filipino. And also, like, I would love to see a musical from the perspective of a Filipino who didn't grow up here. I kind of related to Jay in that sense. And also, like, the set design would be super cool. Like, I would love to see Intramuros on a stage. I would love to see, like, how they would show the slums on stage as well. And just the countryside, like, you don't really see that even in local Filipino theater. So that would be fun. Also, yeah, as I said, the music as well. I'm not entirely sure like how they would do it with the languages, but I definitely don't want it to just be in English. Jay's parts probably is in English and everybody else is singing in Filipino, which is like, whoa, that would make a whole lot of sense to me. I would also love to see how they would do SM Mall of Asia on a stage. How would you do the set design? How would you do an ice skating rink? I don't know, that's like fun for me to think about. It would also be like a contemporary musical, that would be fun. If ever someone does turn Patron Saints of Nothing into a stage musical, hi, hire me, please. The third book I would like to see as a musical, but I'm not entirely sure if it would work, but I think it would be really cute to see it anyway, is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. So this follows the story of two teenage boys who meet each other, who have sort of like a meet cute moment at like the post office, but they both forget to like get each other's name and number. So like half of the book is them trying to find each other, and it's like a really cute YA LGBT romance that I would maybe like to see as a stage musical. And like, what's fitting as well is that the title itself, What If It's Us, is a musical theater reference to Dear Evan Hansen. What if it's us? What if it's us? What if it's only us? One of the boys, one of the main characters as well, is also really into musical theater, and like it takes place in modern day New York, which a lot of musicals already do.
And that's the tea.
So that's why I'm not entirely sure if I would like to see this as a musical, other than the fact that there were a lot of musical theater references in it. But it would also be really cute to see it. It's a really cute story. Maybe even a movie musical would be fine. The next book I would love to see as a musical is The Music of What Happens by Bill Konigsberg. This is also a YA LGBT love story. So The Music of What Happens follows the story of Max and Jordan. So Jordan and his mom are struggling financially, so they dig out his late father's old food truck and decide to make money out of it in order to like pay their debts and pay their bills and so on and so forth. And then you have Max, who is struggling to cope with something that recently happened to him, and he's struggling how to cope with it mentally and emotionally. So Max needs a summer job, and Jordan hires him to work at the food truck. The entire story is them learning how to work a food truck while falling in love, while dealing with friendship and family problems. One of the main reasons why I would love to see this as a musical is the set design. Oh my god. Half of Act 1 would be in a food truck. You guys, the set design for that. Oh my god. And the stage direction as well, because it's a food truck. You would be limited to like a certain space on the stage, assuming it's a big stage. If it's small, then you're kind of fine. But like if you have a big stage, you'd realistically have to be limited to a certain amount of space because you're in a food truck. It's not that big of a space inside a food truck, right? So directing wise, blocking wise, that would be super interesting to see. Also, like the family dynamic, the story itself is also really cute. Oh my god, can we just count how many times I said the word cute?
You know what, let's not.
The next book I would love to see as a musical is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. 2 words, ghosts and a graveyard. The production design alone, set and costumes, you're in a graveyard. Like the entire book is set in a graveyard. Not only that, characters, you're playing as ghosts. Majority of the characters are ghosts. So like acting wise, that's like, whoa. And you're all in the grave, you're all ghosts. These characters have died in different years, different times that are very, very far apart from each other. It's been years since I read this, but like, can you just imagine like the dynamic? All of these ghosts that died in different eras, how they're living together in a graveyard and raising this young boy. Oh, right. So the Graveyard Book is about this kid named Nobody, or Bod for short. So as a baby, he somehow wound up in a graveyard and no one knows where he came from, no one knows who his parents are. So the ghosts just decide to take him in and raise him. So the book takes place when he's like 12 or 13. Around that age. And oh my god, as I said, going back, like the set design, you're in a graveyard. Acting wise, ghosts, you guys, ghosts. And then costume and makeup, they're ghosts. Everyone would have to be like painted white or something, or I don't know, glowing blue. And then the lighting, oh my god, the lighting design, you guys, the lighting design. Oh my god. They'd not only have to like design lights for a graveyard for night, but also during the daytime. It's a graveyard. That's it. That's all I can really say about this. The next book I would love to see as a musical is Room by Emma Donoghue. So Room follows the story of this 5 or 6-year-old boy who grew up in this little room with his mother. And the reason why he's in there was because his mother was kidnapped and forced to live in a room, and the kid's father is actually her kidnapper. The mother and the boy figure out a way for them to free themselves, and when they finally do, the story follows the mother like trying to adjust back to her life, and it's about the kid learning what life is like outside of that room. And that would make such an interesting musical. It would mostly probably be in the eyes of the young boy. It would be almost very Matilda-like in terms of music, with like a lot of hope in it. When I grow up, and a lot of like trying to come to terms with an understanding like what exactly happened to him, like for him to understand what situation he actually was in. And I think that would make a really compelling story, and also like stage design as well. From a small room where the kid had to use his imagination to the max to make everything fun, and then he's suddenly thrust into the real world where it's so much bigger than just one little room in someone's backyard. That would just be so exciting to see. It's not the first time a child would be the main character in a musical, but I think with this dynamic, it'd be really interesting to see, because it's like everybody coming to terms with like him coming to terms with the world, his mother coming to terms with what happened to her parents, the kid's grandparents coming to terms with, oh my god, we have a grandchild. So, and now, the last book I would love to see as a musical is Stolen by Lucy Christopher. So, Stolen follows the story of this 16-year-old girl who gets kidnapped at an airport, and then she is held captive by this 30-year-old dude who's in love with her, and it's basically a story of Stockholm Syndrome. And why I would love to see this as a musical is because if this were ever to become a musical, it would be a lot of solos and duets. When you think of a stage musical, most of the time, like, you'd imagine a lot of chorus songs, but no, this would probably just be two people the entire time. And like, just the set design alone, if it were to be done in a black box theater, like the intimacy, I'd spend a lot of time cringing like at the story, but at the same time, it shows the story of a girl like slowly falling in love with this dude, falling in love, because again, she's 16 and he's 30. And yeah, a story with just two people could work. I mean, we have the last 5 years, which essentially was just two people almost the entire time. So I really think that Stolen by Lucy Christopher could work. It would be a really, really dark musical. Probably have a lot of content warnings, trigger warnings as well. I don't remember if they actually went all the way. I don't think they did. But yeah. I read this when I was like 13 and I loved it so much, but looking back at my 13-year-old self, I'm gonna call myself an idiot because that's not love, that's Stockholm Syndrome. But it would just make such an interesting stage musical. God, just the acting alone, I'm stressed just thinking about what preparation both actors would have to go through in order to pull this off. The last few books I mentioned were kind of heavy, weren't they? So yeah, those are the books I would love to see as musicals. If you enjoyed this video, if you didn't mind my ramblings, my singing, then please like, please subscribe if you haven't already. Click on the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, and yeah, hope to see you guys soon. Bye!